Hi everyone, Meadow here. Today we are going to be coloring Crafty Friends in no line coloring. And I'm going to be coloring everything in this stamp set. I'm going to be coloring the girl, the boy, and all the cute little crafty tools. And to ink these up, I'm going to be using Memento Desert Sand. And I'm just making sure I get all the little details. And I'm using Nina paper to stamp these on. And I'm not pressing very hard, just making sure I get all the details. So first I'm going to start with all the little crafty tools, and I'm using R43 for the paint on the paintbrush. And then R20 to bring it out a little bit. And I'm finishing it off with R00. I'm using E99 for the flicks in the paintbrush. And then E97. And then E95. And for the silver part, I'm using W3. And I'm also using this on the scissors, and I'm just getting the blade part and then a little at the end. And then I'm also using it for the little hole punch. And putting some right on the hot glue gun. And I'm bringing all that out a little bit with W1. And now I'm finishing it off with W00. For the wood piece on the brush, I'm using E55, and I'm just getting one side, bringing it out a little bit with E53, and then filling it in with E51. For the handles on the scissors, I'm making it teal using BG23. And I'm just getting like where the little circles are in the middle and some on the end. And I also decided to make the handles on the little hole punch blue too. Bringing all that out a little with BG11. And now I'm filling it in with BG10. And now back to some pink. I'm making a hot glue gun pink using R43. Pretty much just using the same pinks the whole time. This is one of my favorite combos. So as you can see, I just got like the back part of where you hold it and where the little glue goes in, and a little bit right at the little squirt spout. I don't really know what you would call that. Bringing it out a little with R20. And then I'm filling it in with R00. And I'm using W2 for the little glue stick and the little, I don't know, the little part where it comes out. I really can't think of what that's called right now. And then for the stapler, I wanted to make it teal using BG23. And I'm just kind of getting in the corners everywhere and then kind of going along the lines a little bit. Bring that out a little with BG11. and then fill it in with BG10. Then for the silver part, I'm using W1, or W2, excuse me. And then I'm bringing that out a little with W1. Sorry, my hand's covering it a lot. I'm trying to get better with holding it out a little bit so everyone can see. And then I filled that in with W00. And I also made the heart punch pink. I made the heart pink using R43, and I also made the handles pink. Bring that out a little with R20. And then fill that in with R00. And for the rest of it, I made it white using W3. I just kind of went around the outside and on the inner circle a little, and then filled it in a little with W1, and completely filled it in with W00. And just that plain white piece, I made it blue using BG23, BG11, and BG10. And I'm just getting right around the heart. Now I'm going to color the boy, starting with the shirt, not using that color. I'm going to use YR16. I'm just getting around the apron, like around his sleeve. Sorry, my hand keeps covering. Getting his back. Like I said, around the apron. Then right around his neck a little. Bring that out a little with Y38. And bring it out some more with Y19. Fill it in with Y13. Now for his apron, I'm making it green using YG17. I'm just getting around the straps a little bit. Then I'm going up the side, getting that wrinkle in the pocket, getting around his hand, and then down the side of the apron a little, under the pocket, above the pocket, in the pocket, outside the pocket. Then I'm bringing all that out a little with YG03. And I also got one side of the pocket with YG03, even though there was no YG17 there. And now I'm completely filling everything in with YG01. And I'm just kind of going over it all and then bringing the color out. And now for his jeans, I'm using B97, getting like the top under his apron, getting those wrinkles. Then going down the side. And I'm also doing hers the same color, so while I'm doing his pants, I'll do her pants. Getting right around her apron, in the inner part of her leg. And then getting some on those little folds. I'm going to bring all that out a little with B95. Same for him, just bringing it all out a little with B95. And then now I'm going to completely fill in their jeans with B91. With no line, I do kind of make an outline before I start filling everything in, just so I don't go outside of the lines. But if you do go outside of the lines, you can always clean it up with the 0 marker. So now I'm doing his socks, and I'm doing like the little circles using W3 and W1, and then filling it in with W00. And I went back with W1 just to do the regular, like the other part of the sock. I don't know what you would call that. And then for his eyes, you can see where all the black ink would go. Since we're doing it with no line, that obviously didn't come up in black, so I'm using the W7 marker. And on critters and stuff, I'll normally use like a sharpie or an art liner, but when I'm doing their eyes, since I kind of go over it with COPICs a little bit, with the art liner it'll bleed, so I just do it with COPICs and it won't get all weird. So I'm just going over their eyelashes and their pupil and stuff. And I'm doing all this with W7. And then I decided to make his eyes brown because I haven't really done that before, using E99. And I'm just getting like under his pupil and those little lines that are in his eyes. Bring that out a little with E97. And then E95. And then I got his mouth before I started coloring his skin. I'm using R05 and R02. And I also got hers while I got his. So now I'm going to do their skin, starting with him. I'm using E11. Just getting his arm and his fingers. Kind of just getting closest to his body, adding a line there. Putting a line on his chin and all under his bangs. And then his other arm. And then I'm going to blend all that out a little with E21. And with E21 I also added a little dot for his nose. And then I'm getting his cheeks with R20, just making like little half circles. And then filling that out with R30. And then going over everything a little with E00. In the smaller areas though, I'm just filling those in. And now I'm completely filling in his skin with E000. And there we go, there's his skin. And I forgot to get the white part of his eyes using W1. And they're supposed to have teeth, but I'm still trying to get better at that with no line. So I went over it with an art liner, or a Sharpie, or a COPIC pen, whatever you have. You could probably even use W7, like his eyes. For his hair now, I'm using E25, and I'm just making flicks. I'm kind of following the lines, but not really. When it comes to hair, doing it with lines and no line, I feel like it's kind of the same. There's not really much of a difference. And I'm just adding like 2 or 3 flicks here and there. Honestly, I feel like the part that takes the longest with the hair is just mapping out where all your shadows are going, like what we're doing here. And then once you have that done, it goes by super fast. So now that we're done with that, I'm going to use E23 and just bring all that out a little bit. Yeah, now that we're not mapping it out, it's going by super fast. Okay, and now onto E55. And with E55, I'm bringing it out quite a bit. I'm really sorry about that. The camera died and I did not notice. But for his hair, I just continued with E53 and then finished it with E51. So for her shirt, I'm making it pink using R43. And I'm just getting, kind of like his shirt, just getting around the apron and wherever there'd be a little shadow. Then I'm bringing it out a little with R20. And R30 is a little lighter, so I brought it out with that. And for her apron, I made it the same color as his shirt using YR16. Just got around her pocket. I got a wrinkle on her pocket. Went around that wrinkle that's on her leg. And then the bottom of her apron. I brought that out a little with Y38. And then I went back with YR16 and got some more on her pocket. And then filled it out with YR38. And then I'm bringing it out some more with Y19. bringing it out quite a bit with this one. And then just like his shirt, I'm going to finish it off with Y13. And I'm pretty much just going over the whole thing and then going back to blend out the colors. And there we go. Now I'm going to move on to her eyes. I'm using YG17. And just like his eyes, I'm getting right underneath the black part and then going down that line a little. Bring it out with YG03. And fill it in with YG01. And now for her skin, I'm making it the same color using E11. Getting right under her pants, and then the back of her leg and around her shoes. And then her neck, I'm getting right under her head, around her shirt. Then for her arms, I'm getting the top of her sleeve and then the bottom of her arm. And then adding some little lines where her fingers are. And then the same thing for the other arm, just getting by her sleeve and then the bottom of her arm. And then again, just like him, I'm getting right underneath all her bangs. And some on her cheek. Really sorry my hand keeps covering everything. Then I'm going down the side of her face and getting some on her chin. And then I also added a dot on her nose. Bring all that out a little with E21. And now for her cheeks, I'm using the same colors as him, using R20, and just making little half circles. And then filling it out with R3. And then fill most of it in, not all of it, but most of it in with E00. And now I'm going to completely fill in her skin using E000. And then I got her eyes with W2 and W00. And I also went back to his eyes with the W00 because I forgot about it. And then with the art liner, I went back in to do her mouth just like I colored in his. And again, I'm still trying to get better with doing their teeth with no line. So for her hair, I wanted to make it like a blonde color. I'm starting with E23. And just like him, I'm just making a few flicks with the darkest color. Like, you see how there's like sections in her hair? For each section, I'm doing about 3 to 4 flicks. Some big, some small, but just a few. And then on her buns, I'm just making like an outline where the bottom is, and then making some flicks out. And then on the inner piece where it like kind of swirls out, I'm just kind of making some flicks in a swirly circle. And then the same thing on the other one, just making a line and then doing some flicks out. And now for E55, I'm gonna bring that out quite a bit. And now on to E53. I'm going to be, not entirely, but I'm going to be almost completely filling in her hair. Just leaving a little bit of white. For the smaller places though, like the back of her head and her buns, I just completely filled those in. Then on her bangs, I went back with E51 and just went where the white was. There was some little pieces I missed, so I just went back with those, or to get those. And now for her cute little shoes, I'm going to make them black using W7. Just getting like the back and the bottom of her shoes, and then a little bit on the strap. bring it out a little with W5. Then completely filling it in with W3. And then of course we have to add sparkles, so I grabbed a gel pen, add some sparkles on her shoes and her eyes, and then a really big sparkle here. And there we go. There's our little kids. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!